Hello, everybody. I hope y'all have been enjoying your Valentine's Day celebrations and all of that stuff today. I am here earlier than usual, recording my video during the day, this is my first time doing it, and I'm proud of myself. Well, I think I've done it one other time before, but yeah, it's been a minute. So I'm glad I'm getting it out the way, and I don't have to rush to do it tonight. But anyway, so what I want to talk about today, and I've been trying to find other things to talk about, but my spirit just keeps cycling around love and relationships. I don't know if it's because it's the month of February where Valentine's Day is and it's all about love and romance, or what it is, or because I've been doing, some reflecting on my past relationships and stuff like that, and it's got me thinking about what I want my next love experience to be like. And they say that when you're praying to God about what you want, when it comes to love or anything for that matter, that you should be very, very, very specific. And I think for the most part, I have been doing that. I have like two and a half pages of things that like a must have in the man that I could potentially spend the rest of my life with. So, I just want to share a few of those things. I know I've talked about integrity here before. It definitely has to have integrity. And not have integrity purely because of me, but just a man who's naturally an integral person. That way I know that he's going to not only handle me well, but just handle things in life in general with integrity. Like, that's something that I will be looking for sure, with the next person I feel strongly, attracted to and want to get to know more. I haven't always been good at doing that because I used to live in this oblivious state when it came to that, not really realizing how important integrity is. And when I say that I've kind of lived in the oblivious state when it comes to this, that I've always had the mindset of, if I'm good to people, people will be good to me. But I've learned multiple times, sadly, that that's not always the case. And then also feeling like that if I'm honest with people, they'll be honest with me. But that's not always the case. So that's something that I've learned to be observant of, seeing, does the man have integrity? And not only integrity, but I feel like if he has a good character in general, that he will automatically have integrity. But there's still something that I'm going to look for and pay attention to. What is his character like? Like, how does he treat people? How does he treat people that, can't do anything for him, or that is of no benefit to him? How did he treat and talk about his friends when they're not around? Like, that'll be something. Because I found that men who perform friendships like publicly, but then behind closed doors, they may not always have the best thing to say about their friends, or they have like this competitive, jealous type thing going on. I've learned that those are not men to date, because those are not the best type of men to date, because they're not secure in themselves. And a man who's not secure in themselves typically will not be a good man in a relationship. So that's something else that I'm going to be observant of. What else? Like, even how he acts and talk about other women who may be considered female friends. What else? Like, or how he treats women in general. Women that he may consider attractive but don't want to be romantically involved with him. Like how he reacts to those women. And like, there's a story behind every bullet point that I'm saying, but I'm just going over my list. I'm not going to get into story time today, right now. I don't know. But I will start sharing more details about where I come up with this stuff from and sharing more of my story. I'm being encouraged to by some of my friends, but I just don't feel like now is the right time. And I feel like I know when the right time is to share my story, to be helpful to other women comes when God says so. And I don't feel like God has said, okay, now you can share this. So until God says I can share this stuff, then I won't. But I feel like when I do share it, it's gonna be very helpful to women who may be in the oblivious state like I was when it comes to relationships, thinking that just because you're quote unquote a good woman or a good girl or whatever those labels are, that that means you will automatically get somebody who is also quote unquote good. So I'm looking forward to doing that. But I want to do it in a contained and structured way so that the impact of me telling my story is truly helpful and not just like sharing just to share with no real purpose. So yeah, but back to the list. So I said integrity, I said character. Watch how he treats his friends, how he treat female friends or females in general, men in general. What else? Oh, what his work ethic is like. I'll be paying attention to that as well. And things that are not things that are not needs or kind of like wants. A man who's good with his hand. I like old school men who are good with their hand. There's nothing wrong with a man being able to pay for those type of services. But for me personally, since I'm a woman whose love language is acts of service, I like a man that's good with their hands. Because it's like, okay, babe, help me out with some stuff around the house, or whatever, stuff like that. And then what else? Somebody who's good with his hands. Somebody who is musically inclined. Preferably somebody that can sing and carry notes. If not, somebody who can play some type of musical instrument, something like that. Like it's not a need, it's just a want. It's just like, when I can't remember who it was. It was I can see the man's face, but I remember who it was, but I can't remember his name. But if you're familiar with Ashley Dalton, she's like a level up coach, level up your life. She had 2 men on YouTube with her, and he was saying that anytime he asks a woman what type of man she wants or what type of vision she has for her relationship, she almost says next to nothing. But if he asks that same woman, like, give me the vision of your dream house, they can name it down from like every like single detail, like the basin board, all of that type of stuff. And when I heard him say that, I was like, you know what? I can see that. So let me be very, very, very specific and detailed about what I want. And so when I say I want a man that's musically inclined, because I can hold a note myself, and I plan on taking lessons to learn to play the guitar. And I just got this vision of me and my man being able to like make music together, or sing together, or me swoon him, he swoons me by singing. I don't know. That's just something I always kind of imagined when it comes to the type of romantic relationship that I want to have. And on the note of being more specific, I know I said integrity, but also not just integrity with how he treats me, but integrity with his word too. Like, someone, if you say you're a loyal person, keep your word. If you say you're faithful, keep your word. If you say you are someone who's not a cheater, keep your word. Because I'm the type of woman, I want to be able to brag on my man and to, not all the time, but sometimes, publicly recognize him for the type of man that he is. And I feel like the worst things to have that could happen to me is to be publicly screaming my man, my man, my man, my man all over social media, the internet, or not even the internet, but to family and friends, or things of that nature, like saying all those things, and then behind closed doors or behind the scenes, this man is not keeping his word of being monogamous. If that's because if I'm in a relationship with somebody, the agreement is monogamy, us to be monogamous with each other. That is the agreement. I'm not into polygamy or whatever the name for it is, where you have an understanding you're in a relationship with multiple people. That's not something I would agree to. So if I'm coupled with somebody, it's because we agreed to be monogamous with each other. He's my person, I'm his person only. That's the agreement. So the worst thing I feel like would be to think I'm in this agreement of being monogamous with this person, and they're entertaining other women. They are just letting another woman believe that they're not in a relationship, and that even worse, they're in a relationship with her. Like, that would be like one of the worst things to experience. I don't want to be. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. And then even if I was not to know and not find out that that's what's going on behind the scenes, like in every case, I've always eventually found out that, something like that has happened. So thank God for revealing stuff like that to me. But I just think about women who don't know, and they have these men who have been deceitful to them behind the scenes, been in whole other relationships, or whole other, I won't even say relationships, because I don't understand how you can have a main relationship and then have a side. You can't call both. I can't define both of them as relationships, even though I guess technically you could. Well, I don't want to get into that, but anyway. So I just think about the women who don't know. It's just like, I see it and it's embarrassing. Like, they may not be embarrassed about it because they don't know, but I just feel this sadness for them. Like, they don't deserve it. Like, even if they don't know, they still don't deserve to have a man do them like that. Like, it's just, and I'm pretty sure that the agreement is monogamy. And I'm saying man because I'm talking from the experience of a woman. I'm a woman, so I'm sharing my experience with men. But I'm not saying that women don't, mislead men too. But I'm just talking about my experience as a woman with men. They don't. I just don't want to find myself in that situation where I'm telling people that this is my man and he really ain't my man, or he's supposed to be my man but are entertaining other women. So anyway, being integral with their word and with everything else. What else? It's a lot, and I got a long list, and everything's not coming to mind right now with that, but my main thing is, if I'm going to be coupled, I just want to be coupled with somebody who is who they say they are. Because people can perform and they can pretend well for a long time. It's this thing on social media that said women should choose better. And then sometimes we honestly think we are, but we don't realize the depth of deception that some people will go to fulfill whatever selfish desire or need that they have. So, and this goes back to something that I've been seeing a lot lately on the internet too as well. Whereas this post on Threads that said this girl was talking about how she was deceived, and another girl commented and said, were you truly deceived, or did you just ignore the red flags? And I feel and I believe that yes, sometimes we do ignore the red flags. I have mentioned some red flags that I overlooked before, and I will be, tagging this video at the end so you can check that out. But sometimes people are so good at being deceptive, you don't know that they are not who they say they are. And so I believe two things. I believe that, yes, that while women are responsible for being accountable to themselves and not ignoring the red flags, not painting the red flags green so that they can move forward with this man, that also it still does not excuse a person from being manipulative or intentionally deceitful. Like, even if I don't ignore the red flags and I move on because I seen them, what about the next woman who don't see that as a red flag because they have not yet grown into a level of awareness where they can identify this as a red flag, but they really think this man is being honest when he's truly being deceitful. So just because he didn't deceive me and I noticed a red flag does not mean he won't move on to another woman who can't see it and deceive them. So I just think that when it comes to conversations like that, that should be taken into account too. Yes, women should hold themselves accountable, be accountable for themselves, which is something that I'm currently working on, being more accountable to myself. But two things can be true at once. It also does not excuse somebody from being a liar, a cheater, deceptive, maliciously, like, causing harm to people. So, yeah. That was my little rant on that, because I just don't like when people be like, oh, choose better, be more accountable, stop ignoring the red flags. That's not always the case. And even if it is, why aren't people telling men as much as they're telling women to be accountable for themselves, to choose better, not to lie and be deceitful? Like, let's do it. If we want to see real progress and real change, we have to acknowledge both sides of the coin when it comes to situations like that. But anyway, I didn't come here to do a rant on that. I just came to talk about what kind of man I want. And what else? I don't know, someone who's considerate. Like, I don't have to ask them to be considerate. I was watching a YouTube with Jessie Wu and her boyfriend. She calls him Mr. Easter, and he was saying that some of his mentors, frat brothers, were telling him that it's good to be anticipative of your woman. I don't know if that's a word or if I said it right, but anyway, it's good to anticipate the need of your woman. And like, I know a lot of people would frown on that because it's like, oh, I gotta, anticipate her need, blah, 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 blah. And it reminds me of the happy life, happy wife quote. And I know a lot of people have flipped it into the happy house, happy spouse, which I don't have a problem with that. Like, both are valid. But I feel like also both are the same thing, because I feel like men who get it. Like, happy wife, happy life, it's the same thing as happy house, happy spouse to me, because men who understand the principle of multiplication, that women are multipliers, that happy life, happy wife is essentially whatever you seed into your woman, whatever you pour into your woman, that is what she's going to give back to you. So if you're making her happy, a good woman who also understands the principle of multiplication, in that she's a multiplier, she's going to go above and beyond to make you even happier if you're making her happy. So, like, that conversation made me think about that. So and that's what consideration means for me. Somebody, like, I don't have to ask you to think about me. I don't have to ask you to think about how you moving out here will affect me. You just naturally do it because you care, because you're a considerate person. And so that's something that I want my man to have, consideration. What else? And of course, I know there are things that I would have to be able to have in order to give value to him. I'm not saying be anything for him, because and I'm still working through. Maybe there are some things that I could be for him, but I'm just thinking about the general things that people always talk about being, like being somebody's peace and all that stuff. Like, and that's another thing. My man definitely we have to be equally yoked when it comes to certain things, like the word, like, I feel like peace is something you can provide for yourself. Even though peace is something that I will add to, I don't feel like it's something that I need to give a man, because I feel like God, in the Bible said God gives you peace that passes all understanding. And I don't feel like that's something that I should like give a man, but I would definitely add to his peace. Like, and I don't agree with you having to be whole to be in a relationship. But I feel like joy, peace, and happiness are basic things that we all can provide to ourselves, and then just have a significant other add to. Like, while I'm single, I'm making sure my cup is full with peace, love, joy, happiness, and all of those things, so that when he comes to me, I don't deplete him. I don't drain him of what he has and what he's been holding for himself, because I don't have it within me already. I don't want to drain my man, and I don't want a man to come in my life and drain me of my peace, my love, my happiness, my joy. So that's what I mean when I come from the angle of I can't be anybody's peace. I would definitely add to it, but I can't be that. And I wouldn't look for nobody to be that for me, because I know how draining that could be. I have tried to be a man's peace in the past, and it was draining. So draining. So I can't do that. I can add to it, but I can't be that. So yeah. And what else? I don't know. It's just so many things. And I don't want to have this long, exhaustive, ridiculous list. But I do want to be very detailed and very specific, because God has answered some prayers for me before. But the things that came went exactly how I wanted them to come. And it's because I wasn't very, very, very detailed and specific. So I'm getting better about doing that. And I don't want to share my whole list here, but just some basic things that are on that list. And yeah, I don't know. It's like this feeling of excitement that I have that love is coming. I think it was June 2024. I did this thing with calling in love. Like, I tried to do that practice. I might try again, but I tried like 3 times to start that practice, and it's not for me. I don't know if it's because it's so technical and methodical that I haven't been able to just keep at it. But regardless of that, I still have been preparing in certain ways, like getting things together to make room for the love it is that I want to receive. Preparing to hold it when it comes. And yeah, I don't know. Love is all over me, and I don't know if it's because I've been listening to Ella Mai almost every day, but in those songs that she sung, Hearts on Deck, This Is, Little Things, like all those songs I've been having on repeat lately, and Ready for Love by India Ari. I've been having all those songs on repeat. And maybe that's part of why I just feel this bubbly feeling about love. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling about it. Because I have on my pink dress, and I'm not finna sit here and just waste all this fineness. I wish I'm going to get a better camera, so when I start doing some fit checks and stuff. Because we be dressing and the body be bodying. So yeah, I can't sit in the house all day and just waste it. So I'm just gonna end this video and get out, mingle, get some fresh air a little bit. I want all you lovers out there to continue to enjoy your love day, loving on who loves you, and being good to each other, being honest, being integral with each other. Because I think that's a big part of love, the integrity. I just keep harping on that because I just want men and women to find love with more integrity, not all this deceptive stuff behind the scenes. And yeah, so continue to enjoy that. And if you're single, you know, you can still enjoy it too. Just show more love for yourself, friends, family, whoever. Love. And that's all I have. If you're new here, my name is Latrice. Here's where I think out loud, reflect honestly, and name patterns that keep us stuck. If anything here on my channel resonates with you, please feel free to take what you need. If not, feel free to leave the rest. Oh my goodness. And feel free to share your take, perspective, experience. You know, this is community. My channel is like for community. So feel free to share. And I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.